This is...
Hey. Welcome to the Tuesday, May the 7th, 2013 meeting of the Hot Springs Board of Directors. And tonight our invocation is led by Mrs. Gwen Horton to be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you please stand with me?
Shake your hand off. Our gracious Heavenly Father, we're so thankful for the privilege to stand here. Lord, as I was reminiscing today about the privilege of being able to vote, I thought, what a great nation we live in, and I thank you for that, Lord. I thank you for living in a great state, Arkansas, and a great city, Hot Springs. Lord, I ask that you bless this meeting. I ask for peace to come upon each and every one of us. Lord, that the board of directors, Lord, that the mayor, everyone that's involved, Lord, that will bring forth a petition, I ask that you give them wisdom. I ask that you give us all the wisdom of God. And Lord, I just ask that you bless this meeting again, we pray. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Where are you?
Good job, Lynn.
I hereby call this meeting to order. Would you please call the roll?
Yes. Davidson.
Here.
Jones.
Here.
Clark.
Here.
McCabe. Here. Garcia.
Here.
Foley. Here. Carney.
Here. Thank you. The first item of business is to consider the approval of the agenda. And are there any corrections, additions, deletions, or modifications to the agenda, including items, if any, to be removed from the consent agenda?
Mayor, if I may, there are three items that need to be pulled from tonight's agenda. The first item is Agenda Item 15, Resolution R1385, approving a purchase of a John Deere tractor. There were some issues with the contract on that. We'd ask that that be pulled. Item number 23, Resolution R1397, awarding a bid to Brazos Technology for police electronic ticket writers. There's a companion matter with that. Item number 26, ordinance number 01324, awarding contract to Spillman Technologies for the software associated with that hardware. There are some issues with the software interfacing with the hardware, so we would ask that those two items be removed as well. So that's items 15, 23, and 26.
Okay.
I move that the agenda be amended, therefore.
Okay. Are there any other items before we continue?
Second.
Everything else is good. Okay. There's a second. May I? You've stated that. Okay. All in favor of the motion to approve the agenda as amended, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion adopted. In an effort to afford everyone an equal and orderly opportunity in tonight's agenda, I want to remind our citizens and our guests that we adhere to a 3-minute limit. Is it up there? We have a little timer, and then we have Lance, and he has a little timer. And if you go over, we will beep you. So please remember 3 minutes to make it convenient for everyone to have an opportunity. And then out of respect for all of us, we ask that you silence your cell phones, and please do not talk. If you have to leave before the meeting is over, before our meeting is over, we ask that you do so quietly if your agenda item is taken care of. And should you... And we want to thank all of you for being here. We appreciate your interest in your community, and we thank you for attending our board meeting. Thanks for coming. At this time, are there any guests to be recognized? And yes, there are. I'll start with a proclamation acknowledging the National Safe Boating Week, and that's Mr. Richard Kelly, the past flotilla commander of the USCG Auxiliary. If you would come on forward, I will read this, and then you can give us a little bit about the Coast Guard Auxiliary. Okay. This is a proclamation. Recreational boating is fun and enjoyable, and however, it can be risky and often deadly sport. Not obeying the navigation rules of the nautical rules of the road, drinking alcohol or taking drugs while operating a boat, or choosing not to wear a life jacket are all examples of human error or lack of proper judgment. And knowledge and skills are important in reclaiming and reducing human error and improving judgment. Whereas an average of 700 people die each year in boating accidents in the United States, with approximately 70% of these fatalities caused by drowning. And whereas the vast majority of these accidents are caused by human error or poor judgment and not by the boat, equipment, or environmental factors. And whereas a significant number of boaters who lose their lives by drowning each year would be alive today had they worn their life jackets. And whereas today's life jackets are more comfortable, more attractive, more wearable than styles of years past and deserve a fresh look by today's boating public. Now, therefore, I, Ruth Carney, Mayor of the City of Hot Springs, Arkansas, on behalf of the Board of Directors, do hereby proclaim the week of May 18 through 24, 2013 as National Safe Boating Week in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and encourage all citizens to support the goals of the North American Safe Boating Campaign and practice safe boating habits. In witness whereof, I have hereto set my hand and caused the seal of the city to be affixed on this 7th day of May in the year of our Lord, 2013.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Some of the things we have been doing lately here at Hot Springs, the last 2 weeks we've been teaching Lakeside Junior High School 8th graders safe boating classes. We had 280 students over the course of 2 weeks. We also have a safe boating class coming up at National Park Community College this Saturday at 9 o'clock. Anybody interested in going, they'll have signs showing where the classroom is. And most of the springtime patrols we do on the lake is cleaning logs out of the lake after the winter rains and the winter storms and so forth. And we have pulled logs out of the lake as long as 40 feet with a 12-inch diameter. That'd be a great thing for a boat to hit. So anyhow, I'd like to thank you very much for the proclamation. Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for waiting. And now it's Motorcycle Awareness Month, and I will read this and then you can come forward. The proclamation is, whereas motorcycle riding is an interesting, popular form of recreation and transportation for millions of people throughout the nation, and whereas Hot Springs and the great state of Arkansas are extremely popular motorcycling destinations, and whereas the safety of all modes of transportation should always be on the minds of all drivers of all vehicles, and it is important for motorcyclists to develop sound riding skills and safety habits, and whereas all motorists should be aware of their obligation to responsibility and safety share the streets and highways with motorcyclists, and whereas due to the vastly increasing number of motorcycles on our roads, it is appropriate to set aside time to promote motorcycle awareness. Now, therefore, I, Ruth Carney, Mayor of Hot Springs, Arkansas, on behalf of the Board of Directors, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2013 as Motorcycle Awareness Month in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and encourage all drivers to pay attention to the driving rules to help reduce injuries and fatalities. In witness whereof, I have hereto set my hand and caused the seal of this city to be affixed on this 1st day of May in the year of our Lord, 2013. Would you?
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Just give them a little bit about.
Yes, ma'am. I'm Charles Bailey, president of ABATE District 14, which ABATE stands for Arkansas Bikers Aimed Toward Education. We are a nonprofit organization, and we also go out and educate the public on motorcycle safety and the laws. And right now we've got a new program. It's called Safer Streets for Everyone, where we've got 2 ladies going into the schools and teaching the children. We've got it all the way up to the 8th grade, and I think they did Mountain Pine, Cutter, and Jesseville, and we've got Lake Hamilton on board. And it's really did well. The children loved it, and we've invited back next year to do it again.
Great. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thanks for
Thank y'all very
coming.
much.
Did we have any other guests that I missed? Anybody
I
else?
see some out there.
Well, I'm going to introduce Mr. Fram. We have Mr. Fram here. He's the brand new CEO, director, chamber, whatever we can get him to do. Would you stand or just come forward? We'd love to have you come forward and introduce you properly of our Metro partnership and our Chamber of Commerce, and we're really excited to have him in town. This is his first board meeting. Welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Enjoy the meeting.
We'll get a briefing later on, okay? He's going to redo our whole city for us, so we're happy he's here. I need to back up, and I skipped over the approval of the minutes of the board meeting for the last meeting on April 16th. So I need to back up.
Second.
Did we have a
Motion and
a
second.
motion and a second? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Thank you. We have approved the minutes. Okay. Did I miss any other guests? No, we're all guests. Thank you. Okay, now we will consider our city manager's report.
Well, thank you, Mayor and board members. A lot of things going on, so I thought I would kind of highlight some of the most important. Today, Terry Payne and our Public Information Office launched the City of Hot Springs Facebook page. And we're already getting a lot of likes and comments. And one of the first, news item that we put up on the Facebook page was highlighting the city's new glass recycling program, which has started off to a roaring start. I know one of our sanitation employees is here, and anybody who goes down Valley Street will see that we have 3 brand new containers that are getting a lot of activity, and I want to compliment Bill and the sanitation and recycling crews for getting that done. If you go down in that same neighborhood, you'll notice that there's a brand new trail bridge that's linking our bikeway trail and down the creek. And we're going to have a dedication of that coming up on Friday afternoon at 2 o'clock. So I know that Friends of the Park and Park and Recreation would appreciate the public attending. It's a beautiful bridge and just augments that already exciting walkway. Hopefully one day we'll go to the lake. Program that we're going to be getting into in a little bit more detail probably in the next several weeks is a volunteer effort that's going to be underway in downtown Hot Springs between June 23rd and June 30th. We were approached by the Baptist Church, First Baptist Church in Hot Springs. Is it First?
Hot Springs Baptist Church.
Hot Springs Baptist. To kind of lay out programs. They were asking us to come up with programs that the city could possibly partner with them. And one of the staff's major recommendation was to really go down Central, starting at Park Whittington all the way down to the historic area. And I would call it give downtown Hot Springs a bath. And we are going to, using the church volunteers from my staff, making a plea to tenants downtown, property owners downtown, people in the community, other churches, synagogues, anybody who has a broom and a paintbrush and passion to make downtown a beautiful, clean place. Please contact us and we will get you in contact with the right people to use your elbow grease. And kind of along that note, if you drive into to downtown from Director Davidson's district, you will notice that the the island in front of the Majestic Hotel has been planted, or it's been the recipient of a lot of work today that was provided by the National Park Rotary Club program. In this particular effort, it's been led by former director Cynthia Kahili. Gene Wallace has been working with the Rotary Club, and we had our employees there, but the volunteers were doing a lot of really hard work. And I think you're going to see a magnificent entryway into downtown. The Rotary Club is going to be putting up a rock symbolizing that this is a park they want to adopt. And hopefully that catches on, that we have other groups in town provide volunteer efforts to help make downtown Hot Springs what all of us think it can be. And Webb Center had the pleasure of accompanying Director Elaine Jones in a meeting at the Webb Center, and had a chance to visit with some of the leaders in the community to talk about what's going on with elections and just some data about one form of government versus the other. And I really appreciate, Director, you inviting me.
You did a great job, and I told them who was in charge.
I'll always love her for that. Okay, that's all I have.
Oh, wow. Okay. Did you? Okay. Do any of our directors have announcements concerning any upcoming events other than Go Vote, which I did? How many have the little sticker? Becca does. Did you vote? That's upcoming as of today all the way through the 14th. Please go to the polls and vote to save daylight saving time. Now, that was a joke. Somebody didn't know what the vote was all about, and they saw the clock and don't go backwards, and they thought it was about daylight savings time. So that's not what it's about, but if we can get some votes that way, go ahead. 1 hour extra sleep. So anybody else? Announcements? Yes, ma'am.
If you were in downtown Hot Springs this past weekend, you were among a crowd because the hog rally was here, and I haven't seen the numbers yet of how many bikers we had in town. The weather was intermittent, but at the same time, the Hot Springs Fine Arts Center is celebrating Arkansas Heritage Month, and they were the recipients of a grant, both from the Arkansas Arts Council, which I serve on, and the Department of Arkansas Heritage, to do this and to coordinate a lot of activities. One of those was the Plein Air Festival, and if you drove down, you saw artists outside painting. When it would get real rainy, they'd retreat to their car or under cover of the Arlington or wherever. But the point of the festival, and the artists were on the streets for 2 days painting, and then it culminated with a very nice reception Sunday afternoon. Richard Stevens, our wonderful watercolorist from Hot Springs, won Best of Show. It's side door of the Majestic. All the paintings are up in the gallery, Museum of Contemporary Art, MoCA, the former Ozark Bathhouse, and so you can go see. But the artists talked about how many comments they had from visitors about how exciting it was to see artists with their easels out painting, and they could stand and watch. As Lori Arnold said, one visitor to Hot Springs stated that she felt like she was visiting Paris. And Richard's comments were that this is the first time we've had this sort of event, and we hope to see it grow, and I hope to participate myself next year. I was just too busy this weekend. But with this celebrating Arkansas Heritage Month, every Friday night at 7 o'clock at the Hot Springs Fine Arts Center, there's going to be either a filmmaker, a documentary maker, or Anthony Taylor is going to be speaking, and they're going to be speaking about historic buildings. And you need to get by MoCA to see the photographs of the artists who went through the Majestic last year and took pictures of vine-covered rooms and so on. It's really sort of heartbreaking to see it. Excuse me, but I've already, as soon as I saw that, I marked it all on my calendar. Then Whittington Valley, the Whittington Valley Neighborhood Association meets this coming Monday. Park Avenue Community Association meets the following Monday. And we've got the Whittington Valley potluck picnic coming up on the 18th. So we'd love to see you. It's in that wonderful park at Whittington Park. Thank you.
Yes.
I would like to announce that the public is invited to the graduation of the Arkansas School of Mathematics, Science, and the Arts on the 25th of this month at 2 p.m. at Summit Arena. And if you attend, you will be in awe of these students and their accomplishments. And we are very happy that yesterday the school was named here in Hot Springs the 13th best school in the nation.
Yes.
Any other announcements?
I
You have one?
just have a repeat of what you said.
Oh, no, don't.
You know, there's been a lot of discussion about the apathy of the voters in Hot Springs, and this election that's going on right now is very important to the future of our community. Forget all the personalities; it's important for the future of our community. So I'm just like you, asking everybody, please get out and vote. That's all I'm asking. Please get out and vote. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Okay. All right. At this time, we want to acknowledge that the financial statements are, the records of the city are on file and open for the public inspection at the finance office located on Airport Road. So if you're interested in that, you may go spend your afternoon reading the finance report. Okay. The next item of business is consideration of the consent agenda, and items in this section are of a routine nature and will be considered as one item of business without discussion. I will now entertain a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay. Would you please call the roll?
Yes. McCabe.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Foley.
Aye.
Davidson.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Carney.
Aye.
Adopted.
Okay. The consent agenda is approved. Okay. The next item of business is to consider ordinance number O-1323. First of all, I will entertain a motion to suspend the rules and read by title only. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay. I have a motion and a second to suspend the rules and read by title only. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Council, would you read by title only, please?
Ordinance O-1323, an ordinance waiving the requirements of competitive bidding for the purchase of certain real property for the Higdon Ferry Road Improvement Project from Printer's Place to Crawford Avenue, requesting the Arkansas State Highway Commission to condemn by right of eminent domain said certain real property, Track 6, 6SG1, Track 7, and Track 13, and for other purposes. That concludes your reading, Mayor. If you now entertain a motion and a second to adopt and have discussion, if any.
Okay. Do I have a second? Okay. And discussion. Mr. Carnahan.
Thank you. We had 15 properties that have been where we have reached agreement with the property owners to sell the right-of-way for Higdon Ferry widening, but 3 property owners we have not been able to come to an agreement. The offer that the state made to them based on their appraisals was not satisfactory to the property owner. So in that case, we let a judge make a ruling to award them the amount of money that the state has appraised, and then they can release, we can then have the right-of-way to continue the construction of the project while the owner has the opportunity to go to court and present his case, and then the judge would decide whether he would receive more money or not. And if he did receive, if they did decide to grant him more money than the state appraisal, then we would have to come back to you later for that amount. But for now, that's the process that we need to move forward on these 3 properties. And the total amount of money is not a small amount, $633,850. That's the amount that the state has offered those property owners.
you have any questions, I'll be happy.
Before we have questions from the board, we have one person to speak
Okay.
against it, and then we'll call you back. Mr. Anthony Caradetti.
Hello. It's Chiaradetti.
Oh, Chiradetti, I'm sorry.
Good evening. I'm the owner of Guido's Hot Springs Music located at 812 Higdon Ferry Road. The preceding statement is from the right-of-way procedures manual supplied by the Arkansas State Highway Department. This was given to me at the time of acquisition notification. The Arkansas State Highway and Transportation Department employs qualified real estate appraisers who determine just compensation. Just compensation is the fair market value of the acquisition area plus damages caused by the acquisition to the remaining property. According to the current appraisal that your arbitrator, Joe Atchley, supplied me with, there is a $0 amount in the damages category. We consider this to be arbitrary since many damages to the property will be incurred, such as entrances and parking along with modifications to the current structure will have to be done to be removed from the current right-of-way the city wants. I do not mind selling this property to the city for the betterment of the public. However, we do expect at least current market value. I have been open to negotiations and have supplied appraisals by Lee Stevens, IFA, and Reese M. Pierce, IFAS, both Arkansas certified appraisers. Quite frankly, folks, the numbers don't add up. And to have a $0 amount in damages is an insult. I have obtained legal counsel and am prepared to go to court over this matter. I have been reasonable, and I have offered the city the property for less than our current appraisal value to try and help them with this project. However, we cannot negotiate a deal. If we cannot negotiate a deal before this matter comes to court, we'll be forced to ask for our full appraisal amount, and that amount will be calculated from current comps in the area, since there is a sale that transponded earlier this year within 200 yards of my property at 812 Higdon Ferry. The new appraisal numbers will be considerably higher due to current market value, not to mention legal fees that the city will incur by going to court. So before you cast your vote on this matter, you may wish to consider the additional funds you will be costing the city of Hot Springs by filing eminent domain. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, sir.
Any questions at all?
Questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, shall we bring Mr. Carnahan back? Do we have any discussion, questions?
I do have a question, Madam. Gary, can you, for the public's information, can you explain what is the process? I know that you went through some of the process, but I wonder if you can explain the process when there is a real difference of opinion in terms of appraised value. There's some reference to the state buying this versus the city of Hot Springs buying this. So who is really declaring eminent domain and who is making the decision?
The city is paying the money for the property. It's however, we were very blessed, very fortunate to obtain a congressional earmark for the right-of-way for this overall project. The right-of-way was about $1.5 million of money in total, I think it was, and so we didn't have that amount. We didn't have that money in the budget, so we were able to obtain a congressional earmark. So that money is being administered by the Highway Department, but it's really money that is specifically set aside for this project. So the well, let's see. I think I must be wrong about that amount of money because it was a lot more than that. I can't remember. Doretha, do you remember the amount of that set aside? But anyway, it was enough money to buy the right-of-way for the entire Higdon Ferry project from Highway 7 up to Crawford. Actually, we thought originally it was enough to get the right-of-way all the way to Golf Links but we didn't have enough money. So that's why last year we had to decide to stop at Crawford Avenue. We ran out of right-of-way money. The Highway Department is paying for the roadway construction 100%, but they expect the city to pay for utility relocations and right-of-way purchases. So by obtaining the federal set-aside money, that pays for 80% of those right-of-way and utility relocation costs. So out of our general budget, our general city budget, we're only having to pay for 20% of that. So that's a long answer, but the cities, excuse me, go ahead.
I think I'm sorry, but I think the meat of the question is, at the end of the day, when the dust settles and everything's paved, who owns the right-of-way?
The state owns the right-of-way for the...
It's really more of a state action. We're just a conduit for the money.
Right.
And we also contracted out the appraising to the state.
Yeah, in this section, the state of Arkansas Highway Department hired the appraisers and did the appraisals. They did a before and after appraisal. And in this case, and in the other second case, the property owner also hired an appraiser, and their appraiser's value was, in this case, it's not a factor of 100%, but it's about 80% more than the Highway Department's appraised value, a considerable separation. So the property owner offered their appraisal to us. We forwarded it to the Highway Department. They had their appraisal team review that to see if, in fact, there could be some adjustments made to come to an agreement. But after reviewing their appraisal, the other appraisal, the arguments by the property owner for the reasons why he believed that his property is worth more money, the Highway Department concluded that their appraisal was a valid appraisal and they were not willing to adjust that amount, especially not the large difference in the two numbers. So in that case, and recently we wrote a letter to Mr. Chiardetti, and said, let's set a 2-week period to see if we can reconcile these differences. And so he wrote back through his attorney and basically said, this is our bottom number. And it was a number that was considerably...
That is not true, sir. That is your mistake.
Well, he's disagreeing with me. Let's just say that's my interpretation of what happened. How about that?
I'd recommend that the city attorney be asked these questions to get us, because the question is about process, right. not substance.
Right.
So, Brian, would you like to respond?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Certainly respect any property owner's opinion as to what their property value is. But this is a state right-of-way, as we've indicated. So the Highway Department will actually be the party that goes forward with it. It will not, the City of Hot Springs will not be the plaintiff in pursuing the eminent domain condemnation. It will actually be the state, with us providing the funds through the earmark, of which we're responsible for 20%. And this just simply allows the project to keep going. It is a legitimate public interest to have the project completed, and any party who believes that they're not receiving their fair and just compensation have the opportunity to plead that in court, as opposed to at a board meeting such as this, where the board's action tonight is simply to request the state of Arkansas to proceed on with the eminent domain condemnation and pledging our funds for that purpose. That's the sole purpose of it.
And does the owner still have an opportunity to negotiate with the state at that time?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions?
So from what I understood that you said, the city did everything that it could do to present the information to the Arkansas Highway Department, and they made the decision.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Through their own appraisal agent. Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Hearing no other discussion, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Foley?
Aye.
Davidson?
Aye.
Jones?
Aye.
Clark?
Aye.
McCabe?
Aye.
Garcia?
Aye.
Carney?
Aye.
Adopted.
Thank you, sir.
26 is removed, Mayor, just to remind you.
Okay. And the next item of business is to consider ordinance number O-1325. First of all, I entertain a motion to suspend the rules and read by title only. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, would you please read by title only?
Ordinance O-1325, an ordinance authorizing emergency purchase of replacement wastewater pump from Jack Tyler Engineering of Arkansas in accordance with ordinance number 5563, certifying emergency actions by the city manager, declaring an emergency, and for other purposes. Mayor, that does conclude the reading by title only. Assuming that this matter receives a motion and a second to adopt and there's discussion and it passes, there is a separate emergency clause which I will read individually afterwards.
Do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Is there a second? Okay, and discussion, Mr. Penn, I know your name.
Thank you, Mayor. Richard Penn, Utilities Director. Staff is requesting that you approve this authorization to purchase a pump on an emergency basis. This was for Stokes Creek. The pump is installed, so now we have 2 of 3 pumps running. The third pump is one that you approved earlier tonight on consent agenda.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Okay, would you like to read your?
You need to
No,
adopt it
go
first,
ahead,
Mayor.
adopt, okay. Do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, hearing no further discussion, would you please call the roll?
Yes. McCabe.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Folly.
Aye.
Davidson.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Carney.
Aye.
Adopted.
Section 3, due to the need to obtain said products as soon as practical, it is hereby found and determined that an emergency exists, and this ordinance being immediately necessary for the protection of the public health, safety, and welfare shall be in full force and effect from and after the date of its passage and approval. That concludes the reading of the emergency clause. If you would now, Mayor, entertain a motion and a second to adopt and have discussion, if any.
Okay, do I have a motion and a second?
Second.
Okay, and all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And discussion. Do we have, is that it?
You passed it.
We passed it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
No discussion. Okay, the next item of business, we're on down to 29? No, 28. 28. The next item of business to consider ordinance number O-1326. I will entertain a motion to suspend the rules and read by title only. Do you have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to suspend the rules and read by title only. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, council, would you please read the ordinance by title?
Ordinance O-1326, an ordinance awarding a contract to Central State Bus Sales, Inc. for the emergency purchase of a replacement paratransit van, certifying emergency actions by the city manager, declaring an emergency, and for other purposes. That concludes your reading, Mayor. There is an emergency clause. If you would now entertain a motion, a second to adopt, and have discussion, if any.
Okay, do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Okay, and discussion.
Thank you. Bob Brady, Central City Transit Resident Advisor. We currently have 2 paratransit vehicles that have reached the end of their useful life. We're asking to replace one of them. The reason this is an emergency is because the vehicle we want is a V10 Ford chassis, which is the most dependable. It's proven to be the best. Ford, however, has stopped production of this particular chassis, so there's going to be very limited production of this particular model. We were able to sneak our name in and get it before all of the chassis had been obligated to somebody else. That is why there was quite a hurry on it. The cost of this will be $50,000, $47,900 plus shipping, not to exceed $50,000. In the budget, we had $65,000 set aside for it.
Wow. Okay, any questions? Discussion? All I wanted was plastic seats. Okay, hearing none, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Jones.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
McCabe.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Folly.
Aye.
Davidson.
Aye.
Carney.
Aye.
Adopted.
Okay, we have an emergency clause.
Section 2, due to the need to obtain said products as soon as practical, is hereby found and determined that an emergency exists, and this ordinance being immediately necessary for the protection of the public health, safety, and welfare shall be in full force and effect from and after the date of its passage and approval. That concludes a reading of the emergency clause. If you would, entertain a motion and a second to adopt.
Do we have a motion to adopt? And
Move.
a second?
Second.
Okay. Do we do a roll call or say aye?
I mean, if there's
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Any opposed? There we go. Okay. The next item of business is consider ordinance number 01327. I will entertain a motion to suspend the rules and read by title only.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. I have a motion and a second to suspend the rules. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Council, would you please read the ordinance?
Ordinance 01327, an ordinance accepting utility alley number 13-0001 in Hot Springs Reservation subdivision as a city utility alley and for other purposes. That concludes your reading, Mayor.
Do we have a motion to adopt? Is there a second? Any discussion? Here we go.
Thank you, Mayor. Denny McFate, Public Works Director. Staff's recommendation is to accept utility alley number 13-001 for city drainage maintenance of a portion of Water Street right-of-way. Staff is recommending on behalf of the stormwater utilities that we accept this alley that's located in Hot Springs Reservation subdivision. Currently, it's undeveloped and platted as Water Street right-of-way. This is for the use of city utility drainage maintenance. Hot Springs Code 12-1211B2 describes a city utility alley as a platted but undeveloped roadway accepted by ordinance of the city for use as an alley for the construction and maintenance of water, sewer, storm drainage, or other public utilities under the care and control of the city. This section of the right-of-way is where the Whittington Avenue branch of Whittington Creek Tunnel entrance is located between Water Street and Whittington Place. As part of the Hot Springs Creek Tunnel Grant Rehabilitation Project currently underway, the plans call for a debris settlement basin to be constructed approximately 300 feet west of the tunnel entrance in the creek bed. The city's flood warning system is also located at the tunnel entrance and is currently located in the Water Street right-of-way with no formal authority for the city to own this right-of-way or for any manner to maintain it. This would allow the city to control and maintain the Whittington Creek entranceway leading into the tunnel for future maintenance as required. The request would convey approximately 50 foot by 605 feet of street right-of-way, which the Whittington Creek traverses through the center of to the city for the maintenance of stormwater as a stormwater utility alley. It would be named Alley 13-001. As mentioned, from the west end of Whittington Place, approximately 605th Street to its connection with Water Street. Any questions?
Do you have any questions? Okay. Okay, hearing none, we didn't have anyone sign up, so would you please call the roll?
Yes. Davidson.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
McCabe.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Folly.
Aye.
Carney.
Aye,
Adopted.
and it's passed. Thank you. You have another one next. Okay. The next item of business is to consider ordinance number 01328. I will entertain a motion to suspend the rules and read by title only.
So moved.
And a second. Okay. I have a motion and a second to suspend the rules and read by title. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Council, would you please read by title only?
Ordinance 01328, an ordinance amending ordinance number 5742 by adopting modified regulations of floodplain management and for other purposes. That concludes your reading, Mayor. If you're not entertaining a motion and a second to adopt and have discussion, if any.
Do you have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
And a second. Okay. And Mr. McFate.
Thank you, Mayor. Staff recommendation is to approve modified regulations for the floodplain management, therefore meeting the requirements for continued participation in the National Flood Insurance Program, or NFIP, and thereby repealing existing floodplain ordinance number 5742. The Board of Directors approved Ordinance 8027 on September 18, 2012, authorizing a contract to FTN and Associates for engineering services to conduct a detailed flood study and letter of map revision, or LOMAR, of Gulf of Tributary Number 3, establishing base flood elevations for the tributary. The studies have been completed. The Department of Homeland Security, FEMA, submittals and approvals are also completed, And as part of the city's participation in the National Flood Insurance Program, FEMA requires that the city approve and adopt new or revised legally enforceable floodplain management measures in accordance with 44 Code of the Federal Regulations, Section 60.3D of the NFIP regulations as a condition of continued eligibility in the National Flood Insurance Program. This adoption must be completed within 6 months from the date of the Lomar letter, which we had dated March 22nd, 2013. The new revised regulations must reference with regard to the city's receipt of the FEMA Lomar for Gulf of Tributary Number 3, of the FEMA insurance study that accompanied it, and the flood insurance rate map, which are the firms, including its effective date of September 23, 2013. Basically, the two things that this changed was designating base flood elevations for that watershed that runs between parallel with Dino Street and perpendicular to and across Bel Air Drive. And then it also, the study designated a designated floodway, and FEMA guidelines requires that if we have a floodway in one of our streams or lakes, that there's certain things and rules that we have to go by, and this is adding that to the ordinance. The failure to approve these additions to the national flood, to our new floodplain management ordinance could result in suspension and up to suspension from the National Flood Insurance Program. Any questions?
Any questions? Okay, thank you so much. Okay, hearing no further discussion, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Garcia.
Aye.
Folly.
Aye.
Davidson.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
McCabe.
Aye.
Carney.
Aye.
Adopted.
Okay. The next item of business is to consider ordinance number 01328. Would you, is that the one we just
29.
did? 29. And would you, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to suspend the rules and read by title only. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, would you please read by title only?
Ordinance 01329, an ordinance authorizing amendments to the budget for the City of Hot Springs, Arkansas for the year 2013 and for other purposes. That concludes your reading, Mayor. If you now entertain a motion second to adopt and have discussion, if any.
Do I have a motion to adopt?
So move.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second, and Ms. Doretha.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm Doretha Yates, Finance Director and Treasurer for the City of Hot Springs. Earlier tonight, you guys approved two separate items for pumps that had failed at Stokes Creek Pump Station. The failure of those pumps was unexpected, and therefore we didn't budget for it in the 2013 budget. This item provides an additional appropriation of $51,600 to cover this expenditure. The wastewater fund has the funds for this, and I recommend adoption.
Okay. Have any questions? Okay, hearing none, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Clark.
Aye.
McCabe.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Folly.
Aye.
Davidson.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Carney.
Aye.
Adopted.
Okay, it's adopted. Thank you. That's the last one. Okay. All right, I guess that was the very last ordinance. The next item of business is to consider the Board of Directors' comments. Do we have any comments that you would like to make? Yes, sir.
I just have a comment for the District 6 residents who are affected by the second to the last ordinance that was passed regarding the floodplain regulations. Some of the residents in District 6 are affected by this, and so when you receive a notice from the city, please pay attention to that, as it will affect your insurance and other things for you.
Okay. Did I see your hand? Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to also mention that Saturday at Farmers Market at 10 a.m. Will be the launch, Trail Watch launch. And so I invite the public to come out about that and find out about that and some opportunities there. I also have some thank yous I wanted to mention because I received from some of our residents in the Forest View neighborhood, which for Max Stillia and the stormwater, Mr. Gary Carnahan, city engineer, Bill Burrow, and our street department, for the new crosswalk at the intersection of Delaware and Highland. They have already seen a reduction in speeding traffic through there from that crosswalk, along with our police department patrols. Drainage issues that were addressed were very much appreciated in that area, and so it was good to hear from the residents, and I wanted to pass along those thank yous to all of the great work the city employees have done in that area. Also to Mr. Watkins, our city manager, for the great job he did last week in District 5 meeting for the State of the City address and taking questions from the public that were there. I had great feedback, so thank you, for that. And to Michelle Cecilia for the community survey and the work that she was doing and meeting with citizens in the planning department. Thank you.
Anybody else? Announcements? Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Immediately following the adjournment tonight of our business meeting, there will be a public commentary here in the board chambers. And for those of you who are leaving, we appreciate you being here. For those of you who are staying for public comment, please do so. It'll take a few minutes in between for us to switch over.
Did I move that we adjourn?
May I have a motion that we adjourn?
A second.
Is there a second? Who's in charge?
Thank you, Mayor.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Okay.
Thank you.